Check, check, mic check. Check, check, mic check. Welcome to Podcast Envy. I'm your podcast boss, Andrea Klunder, and I am so excited. I've been out of the podcast feed for a couple of weeks. Busy behind the scenes. And one of the things that I have been busy on is creating a brand new program called Light Up Your Mic. I am so excited about this program. I'm going to tell you more about it in a moment. However, I also wanted to let you know that this episode is a special bonus. I am sharing with you today a little sneak peek at the workshop that I gave at She Podcasts Live this summer. It's called Be the Star of Your Own Show. And in this session, I outlined my 5-point system for becoming the star of your podcast. Now, whether you have a positive or a negative connotation with star, whether that word gets you excited or that word makes you feel like, meh, I promise that if you are podcasting, if you want to see results with your podcast, if you want to make a show that matters in the world, to your audience, to your people, a show that makes a difference, if you want to inspire your listeners and move them to action or move them to tears or get any kind of engagement with them whatsoever, this 5-pointed plan is exactly what you need to take it to the next level. So right here on Podcast Envy, I am giving you 2.5 of those 5 points. And if you want the rest, the best way to get the rest is by joining Light Up Your Mic in this moment that we are recording. I have exactly 2 spots left in our August 2023 program. And if you have missed this one or it is full, I'm sorry to say I'm not really sure if I'm going to run it again. It all depends on whether there is enough interest for this accessible hybrid coaching program, which combines group coaching and my eyes and ears one-on-one on your show. The thing that makes this program so exciting to me is that I get to take my experience as a casting director, a performer, a film director, and of course, a podcasting consultant, and roll it all into a process that helps me identify exactly what makes you as a podcaster, the secret sauce that only you possess, that you can bring into the spotlight through the vehicle of your podcast, if you know where to look and how to access it. This is one of my secret skills that I want to make sure is not so secret because I realize that this is a skill that can definitely be put to good, and I'm ready to put it to good for you. To get more information about Light Up Your Mic or to snag one of those last 2 spots that are left for August 2023, go to thecreativeimposter.com/light up your mic, linked for you in the show notes for this episode and at podcastenvy.com. Once again, that's thecreativeimposter.com/light up your mic. There are flexible payment options available for you, and we're starting really soon. So don't wait. All right. Are you excited to hear how to be the star of your show? Let's do it. Welcome to Podcast Envy's special She Podcasts Live edition. I'm your podcast boss, Andrea Klunder, and today we are going to talk about how to be the star of your own show. I wanted to call out that you all helped shape this presentation. So I asked 2 questions ahead of time in the Whova app. One was, who do you think of immediately when you hear the word star? And one is, in the podcasting space specifically, who do you think of as a star? And y'all did not answer these questions the way that I expected you to answer them. I was expecting Beyoncé, Taylor Swift, maybe Meryl Streep or J.Lo or somebody like that. We did eventually get Marilyn Monroe as a response. We did eventually get Oprah. And then at the last minute, we did get somebody to say Beyoncé in that poll. But the answers that we did get that I was kind of surprised by were that we got Brené Brown. We got Elise Myers, Kelsey McKinney, who I didn't even know who Kelsey McKinney was. So I looked her up. Her show is very cool. I think maybe when you answered that question, you were already thinking of folks who either had a podcast at one time or currently have a podcast. But a lot of those people were actually already stars in their own domain before they ever even had a podcast. So then when I asked about podcasting stars, we got, of course, Jessica and Elsie. We got Glennon Doyle, Krista Tippett, Jay Shetty, Guy Raz, Ashley Flowers, Kathy Heller, Mel Robbins, and again, Brené Brown. You all are so into the personal development, self-help, and productivity stuff. So we also got a few interesting responses, which I'll get to in a moment. But before I give you my 5-point framework for how to become the star of your own show, I want to tell you a little story. And that is that when I was about 11 or 12 years old, I was a huge fan of 16 magazine. May she rest in peace. Anybody remember 16 magazine? Am I the only one? 16 magazine was boy band pinups, celebrity profiles, lifestyle tips for teenagers. And they came out with this little booklet that you could mail order that was written by then editorial director of 16 Magazine, Randy Reisfeld. And that was called So You Want to Be a Star, A Teenager's Guide to Breaking into Show Business. And when I looked this up, I found one copy on eBay this week. And it says that it was over 200 pages. I don't remember it being that long. I remember it being like this little dinky booklet. But in any case, what I do definitely remember is that the very first chapter asked an important question for everyone reading this very important book, which is, do you want to be a star or do you want to be an actor? And I puzzled on this, but I had an answer. And so our very first legitimate interactive poll, what do you think my response was? Did young 11 or 12-year-old Andrea in 1990 want to be a star, or did she want to be an actor? What do you think? So far, we're 100% star. It makes sense because that's the show, right? Oh no, we're split. Oh, the suspense is killing me. Well, the answer is that I wanted to be an actor. I was a very serious preteen. We didn't even use the word tween back then. I was a very serious preteen. I wanted to be taken seriously for my craft. I wanted to be an actor. And maybe it's because I already knew at that point that there was a potential dark side to stardom. And somebody did allude to that in the poll in the Whova app, where they said that when they think of star, they think of somebody who only thinks of themselves, right? And what I would like to whisper to 12-year-old Andrea is, you can be both. This is not a binary choice. You can have the visibility of a star and be taken seriously as an actor, all rolled into one at the same time. And so if you have any hesitations whatsoever on embodying the word star or the idea of being a star, there are actually 2 mantras that I want you to say out loud with me right now. The first mantra is, there is nothing wrong with shining bright like a star. Say that with me out loud. There is nothing wrong with shining bright like a star. And now the second mantra, I am turning up the dial on my own starlight. Say it with me. I am turning up the dial on my own starlight. So now that we've got the energy high, we are going to go to our next poll, star qualities. When you think of a star, whether it was Brené Brown or it was Beyoncé or it was Oprah or it was Jay Shetty, what are some of the qualities that a star embodies? Self-confidence, absolutely. Excellence, charisma. Ooh, I like that one. That's a good word. Confidence, talent, self-assured, I love these qualities. So then what we are up to today for the rest of this session is going through my 5-pointed plan of how we can embody these qualities that we see in the stars. They say that when we're looking at celebrities who we admire, a lot of the times what we see in them are qualities that we actually possess that are just being reflected back to us through them. And so we're going to do some exercises and ask some probing questions to see how we can start to embody some of these same qualities ourselves. So, point number 1. How to be the star of your own show. This is the biggest one. This is the number one most important thing to take away, which is the word differentiate. Differentiate. A Beyoncé show is not a Lady Gaga show, is not an Ali Wong Netflix special. They are all shows. All of them are stars. And in fact, they may even have some similar qualities or some similar characteristics. However, you would never accidentally walk into a Lady Gaga show expecting to see Beyoncé. You would never walk into an Ali Wong show expecting to see Lady Gaga. And so in relation to your podcast is to think about this. When I was a young podcaster and I was just getting started with interviews, I had a performance background, I had a theater background. But I was nervous about interviews because, again, I wanted to be taken seriously. I wanted to be a serious interviewer. And so my first few interviews of my very first show, The Creative Imposter, you could still go back and find it, I tried to imagine I was Terry Gross from Fresh Air. I tried to imagine that I was Krista Tippett. I tried to imagine that I was my personal favorite interviewer, Tammy Simon from Sounds True. And you know what? We don't need any of those. We needed me. We needed me, Andrea Klunder, with my own lived experiences, with my own personality, with my own point of view. That's who we needed. We didn't need them. We already have them. We don't need another Oprah. We already have an Oprah. So who we need is you, your specific experience, your specific point of view, your specific personality. That's who we need when you show up to the mic. And so how are you going to make sure that you differentiate your show from everyone else? First of all, you're going to do some research. I am an academic at heart. I love doing research. You're going to go into your trusty podcast app or even the Google, and you are going to find every single show that is talking about the same topic that you are, or in the same niche or industry that you are in. Or even if you want to take this a degree further, you're going to find every show that is speaking to the same audience, the same listener that you are. See who is already out there. And then you're going to ask yourself, seriously, with all these other shows that already exist about my topic, what is different about me? What is it about me that sets me apart from all of these other people? You don't have to be bigger, better, more famous, funnier, have a huger following, have a more impressive following on Instagram. You don't need any of those things. You just need to be different. And when you can land on what it is that makes you different, you will start to differentiate your show and step into your starlight. So looking at what makes you different and then how can you embody that in your show? Point number 2, know what you stand for and be clear about it. Put your values up front and don't be afraid to repel those people who may not align with your values. This is kind of a prickly one because, especially here at a podcasting conference, we're about growth. We're about expanding our audience. We're about finding more people. And I'm telling you, don't be afraid to send some people back. Throw some fish back into the water. So finding the thing that you stand for and putting it loud and proud up front. I was just having a conversation with a client of mine. She has been in arts administration and community engagement, and she has seen a lot of changes in the industry. And I was meeting with her because I feel like there are some changes that are happening in her company very specifically, in the arts world overall, and in the podcasting space overall, and in the world overall. Like there's changes happening everywhere right now, and they are big fundamental changes. And I wanted to get her take and her perspective on it. And she said that what is happening right now is a conflict. And she was speaking about the arts space in general. But I think this can apply to other industries as well. She was saying that there is a conflict between the people in power who want to do things the same way they have always been done with people who are not the same as they always have been. And this means two things. This means that one, there is a new generation or generations of individuals who do not have the same point of view that the older generations have. They don't want to be aligned with brands, companies, people who do not match their values, who do not align with their values. That's why we're hearing about quiet quitting. That's why we're hearing about hybrid and work from home. And so that's one, is the new generations. They have a different point of view, they have a different perspective, and they do not want to do things the same way they have always been done. Also, we are different. We just went through a massive things, plural, all at the same time in 2020 and 2021. And we as people have different values that are coming to the forefront, that are coming to the surface than what we were focused on before that time. And so I have here examples of stars who very clearly know where they stand. Greta Thunberg, climate change activism, Michelle Obama, healthy school lunches, and Jennifer Lawrence, equal pay for female actors in Hollywood. And so when you think of each of these people, even Brené Brown, it doesn't even have to be a political thing. Brené Brown, nobody knew who Brené Brown was until she did that TED Talk on vulnerability. And so now she's done a lot of other stuff. She's had a lot of other topics and specials and shows. But when you think Brené Brown, you think vulnerability. Third point. Okay, and this third point is a test. Now, if you've been listening to the last 5 episodes of Podcast Envy, I think you'll be able to solve this brain teaser. Now, I'll give you some clues. Okay, I said that number 1 was the overarching, most important one, but this is the biggest one. This is the biggest container. And that is because we here at She Podcasts Live are all podcasting about topics that we love, that we are passionate about. We're podcasting about things that matter to us, things that are important. Values is easy for us at She Podcasts Live, right? A lot of us are subject area experts. A lot of us have experience with things that we want to share with our audiences, either to help them embrace, or we are podcasting about things that we want to protect them from and help them to avoid, right? We're very good at educating and informing. And what some of us forget about sometimes is that your podcast is a show. Your podcast is a show. And here's a fill-in-the-blank quiz for you. Your podcast is a show, and therefore it should be blank. What do you think goes in the blank? This is point number 3. Can you get it from what we've been talking about over the past 5 episodes of Podcast Envy? Still stumped? On the tip of your tongue? In episode 105, published on April 27, 2023, I gave 10 ways to make your podcast more of this quality, the one that goes in that blank, which included storytelling, humor, vulnerability, audio texture. Now, do you know what word goes there? Your podcast is a show, and therefore it should be... All right. If you want the answer and you want access to the rest of this audio masterclass, which includes the rest of point 3, point 4, and point 5, as well as a bonus, all of which tells you exactly how to become the star of your own show, then I would love to invite you to Light Up Your Mic. Light Up Your Mic is an exclusive coaching program where you are getting my one-on-one attention on your show. My eyes, my ears, my brain, my thought processes, and my 5-pointed system to help you become even more of the star that you already are. I seem to have a knack for being able to hear the potential that someone has and how they can capitalize even more on that potential. Capitalize in a good way, not an evil economic system way. Capitalize on your skills, your abilities, your talents, your backgrounds, what makes you you. Capitalize on that for the benefit of your audience, your listeners, and hey, you too. Light Up Your Mic is a hybrid group and one-on-one coaching program starting at the beginning of August 2023. So if you are listening to this in real time, we are just about to start. We've got 2 spots left in this program in the moment that I am recording this, and there are flexible pricing options available for you. Part of what you'll get is the audio replay of the rest of this masterclass, as well as related masterclasses in your very own private podcast feed. We will also have group coaching, and I will be doing a full audit of your podcast to take a look at and listen to how you show up through the vehicle of your show. Then we'll meet one-on-one, and I'll give you some coaching advice, tips, real actionable strategies that you can take away and try to help you become even more of the star of your own show. Details and links to snag one of those last 2 spots in our August 2023 Light Up Your Mic session are at thecreativeimposter.com/lightupyourmic. And of course, that will be linked for you so conveniently in the show notes for this episode and at podcastenvy.com. However, if you are listening to this and this program is already full for August or August 2023 has already passed, you can join the waitlist. Send me an email, Andrea@thecreativeimposter.com. Let me know that you are curious about Light Up Your Mic. And if we get enough interest, I may just run it again. So take note, it is not guaranteed. August 2023 may be the first and only time I run this program. But if there's enough interest, maybe I'll run it again. So you'll have to let me know. Once again, the link to learn more and save your place in Light Up Your Mic is at thecreativeimposter.com/lightupyourmic. And personally, I can't wait to see you turn up the volume on your starlight. Podcast Envy is produced by your podcast boss, Andrea Klunder. That's me. The Podcast Envy theme music is by Valentin Sosnitsky, courtesy of the Free Sound Project at freesound.org, and our podcast Angel music is by Benjamin Mastropolito, also on freesound.org as Lemon Cream. All music is licensed under the Creative Commons. Our episodes are mixed by Edwin Ruiz, and hey, if you want your show to sound as good as ours, hire us. Put the magic audio mojo of the Creative Imposter Studios to work for you. Thanks so much for listening, and here's to making your podcast the envy of everyone else.